This episode is sponsored by Spelman Pathways, creating your path to life and career excellence, a dynamic program that equips students with tools, leadership skills, and career readiness to thrive beyond college. Whether you're entering the workforce or pursuing graduate studies, Spelman Pathways helps you sharpen the skills needed for interviews, on-job success, and high performance. Okay, my God. Okay, welcome to Let's Talk College. I am your host, LaDiamond Lett.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
Okay. I am your other host, Makia Jackson, and I'm so excited to be here today.
So what are we talking about today, Ray?
We're talking about networking. Yeah, and I'm your other host, Regina King.
Excellent. I like
Dr.
that.
King.
The other host.
Other. Listen.
That's going to be cute, the little subtitle at the bottom. The host, the other
Yeah.
host. That's
I like
good.
that. So as a senior, I've been doing networking for 4 years straight. It's tiring work.
Wow, that's deep.
It's very tiring.
Congratulations.
work.
Did you get a certificate?
I should have.
I got some news for you. You're just getting started.
Yeah,
I
golly.
don't wanna hear
Yeah,
that.
you're just getting started for
So,
sure.
like, in doing networking for this long, like, I feel like I keep asking the same questions. Like, what do you do for work? Why do you love your job? How did you get into this field? What are some questions that can kind of, like, break up the,
Routine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, the same three
Are
questions.
those questions that you just have embedded? Like, I need to ask these questions?
Yeah, like, when I think about networking, I'm thinking, like, when I walk up to this person, this professional, I need to ask them why they like their job, how they got their job, and if they enjoyed or, like, how can I get into their job? I never think to ask them questions outside of the profession.
Oh, I love this question.
Yeah, because I think for me, just how like this podcast is just there's no script. We're kind of just saying what we do, but the conversation is flowing. Sometimes that's better. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
walking up to somebody, like, you could compliment them. They might be talking about you could ask them about their career and then ask them the question like, well, how did you get there? You know what I'm saying? Make the conversation more interesting and don't feel like you have to stick to those scripted questions that you've embedded because you're in a professional setting.
Yeah.
Sometimes that general conversation can spark an interest in a conversation that can go beyond. You can learn so much more, and then that forms a connection. I think when we think about networking, we need to think about connections.
Yeah, for sure.
Building connections, because those simple conversations could turn into well, take my number down. We should go grab coffee one day. Follow me on LinkedIn. And then later they could connect you to somebody else for something you didn't even think that you could do one day or be qualified for, you know? And so I think, you do want to ask some professional questions, but if you're just being authentic and just being like, hey, I like your shoes, girl. Where you get those from? Girl, I got them from TJ Maxx and Ross. You know what I'm saying?
My God.
Girl, I
Come
love
on,
TJ
TJ
Maxx and
Maxx.
Ross. I used to work there as a part-time when I was in college.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You did? What college did you go to? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the conversation goes into professionalism along the way. But, yeah, girl, take some of that pressure off yourself. It doesn't have to be.
But if you're like me
Or so different.
and you feel awkward and uncomfortable in a space, one of the things that a theater professor told me a long, long time ago, I was preparing for an assignment. We had to do like a monologue or something. And I was like, oh, I feel so nervous, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, you feel nervous because you're unprepared. If you were prepared, you wouldn't be nervous. Even if I had you to do just a random scene, if you prepared yourself with what I asked you to prepare before you came to this class, you wouldn't be nervous. But you're expecting to just jump in and say or do anything and be okay. If you practice and prepare, for example, just having a conversation with you, or even as we were working on the research and all of that for this podcast, just to prepare ourselves, we had a conversation, we talked through it, we went back and forth, we compared notes, right? And so that's a form of preparing. So in this case, when you go into a networking setting, have 3 set questions that you want to start with. That way you're not hoping that you catch a vibe and you know what to ask. If you feel uncomfortable, if you're like a really charismatic person and it doesn't bother you to go into a space and just talk, go for it. Because like day to day, that's not me. I can turn it on, but sometimes if you turn it on and you're unprepared, you're going to look a mess. Hi guys, how y'all doing? That calm down. Savannah, relax. So I would start with questions like, what brought you to this event? because that's going to be for different reasons. Maybe somebody invited them. You don't know. And then you don't have to forecast what they're going to say. That was your question. And then they're probably going to ask that same question back. Another good question is, if you are of working age, that probably means you went through the pandemic. So a good question that you can ask, or, just keep in your toolbox is, what new hobbies did you pick up during the pandemic? And you're going to get some interesting answers because the pandemic affected all of us differently, right? And it's believed that the pandemic made us all socially awkward. And so while you were becoming socially awkward, you're not able to talk to people, what were you doing, And you'll find that people have different things, right? I got into fitness. I got into reading. I got into crocheting. You're going to hear different things. And that even further breaks the ice because people don't have their guard up thinking they're having to talk about their career. And then the final question, once you do got to move into the professional questions, is what do you love about your work? Because most times we ask, how did you get into it? Do you like it? And some people might say, no, I don't like it. Now, that's the end of the conversation. That's not really open-ended. But if you ask them what they love about their work, that leads them to think, what do I love about what I do? Why do I keep showing up every day? And then if the answer is, I don't love anything about my work, your next question could be something like, so when do you plan to transition?
I say you should walk away after
What are you transitioning into? What are you thinking about? What do you think you want to do next? What do you love? What do you actually love to do? If you don't love your job, what do you love to do? And that just leads to a deeper connections. I think that's the power of asking questions.
Okay, so after we've asked the questions, in the framework we go to listen. And as the resident timid people on the team, I feel like we know the beauty of listening because don't nobody really want to talk. Like, yeah, we're in front of a podcast mic right now, but like, we don't talk like that for real. And also the people listening to the podcast, like, they know the beauty of listening. They're listening to us speak right now.
Right.
But how do you make sure that even if you're not a talker, you make sure that you're balancing listening to people and also speaking to people? So I feel like sometimes when I'm in networking events, I'll find myself just kind of looking like a deer in headlights because I'm just listening to what everybody else is saying, and I'm not actually like interjecting and making room for what I want to say or putting in my 2 cents in a quarter. I just kind of sit there and I'm looking like, oh wow, all these cool people talking about all this cool stuff, and it's like I have something to say, but I just haven't said it yet. So how do we make sure that, especially for people who are a little bit more shyer, how do you make sure that you're balancing asking the questions as well as listening to the answers that you receive?
I would say we believe that we're good at listening just because we have 2 ears, and that's not true. Active listening is a skill that you have to develop over time. You have to learn what it means to listen. Listening is not you say something and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to say back to you. Listening is actually indulging yourself in listening to that person and what they're saying and what they care about, and listening for where did they get a little passionate? Because that ain't really what I asked, but they went off and it's like, wow, you really love X, Y, and Z, whatever that thing is. But you can't catch that if you're saying, oh, in your mind, I can't wait for them to stop talking because I'm going to tell them about how it's not about you all the time, bro. Like, so developing that skill, and that takes time. And the second thing I would say to the balance between listening and talking is, again, coming with the checklist, coming prepared. Not checklist like you. Let me be clear. Don't come in there with a clipboard and stuff. Okay, I did this, I did that, I did this. But in your mind saying, I'm going to come in here and I want to meet 3 people. I want to learn 3 things about these people. And then I want to share 3 things about myself. Not only does that take pressure off because you're prepared and you know what you're going into a space to do, but it's almost like when you go into the grocery store. I'm scared of the people that go into the grocery store with no grocery list.
Oh, then you're terrified of me.
Scared.
I don't do it. I can't do it.
Horrified. You understand me? I have to go into the store with the list. What am I coming in here to get? Or I'm going to leave here with everything and nothing that I needed. And I feel the same way about a networking event. What did you come in here to get? What did you come in here to experience? What do you want to leave with? And so, yeah, those are the 3 things. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to meet 3 people. I want to learn 3 things about this person. And then I also want to share 3 things about myself. What do I want to get out? This is the career I'm trying to go into. These are the things that I'm interested in. This is what I'm struggling with. What information do you have on that can kind of help someone in my position, whatever classification I am, whatever, like going into the space like that. It's so much more fulfilling when you're prepared and less awkward, I would say. I felt good about that.
I love that for you.
Wow.
Woo.
I ain't look at no notes or nothing.
Listen,
said,
it's off the dome.
I might be smart.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right. So, speaking of smarts. Listen, I'm trying. So we know that mindset changes everything. Miss Makia gave us such an eloquent, just beautiful. I mean, it's just like
Just got me all the way together.
breathtaking explanation as to like, you know, how she goes into these rooms and she's not really phased by the people that are in there, their grandeur. She's in there like, I came in here to get a job, or I came in here to get some information,
Or I'm
And that's
that girl.
Listen.
You here to meet me.
But I will say that's something that I've developed over time. Because in undergrad, I definitely, oh my gosh, y'all, I had took a speaking class.
The public speaking?
Man, I used to be
That's
up there
my favorite
sweating,
class.
stuttering, feeling like I was going to be sick that day. I hated that class. I do not like public speaking. But it's something I developed over time. And I think with my confidence growing and just really knowing who I am, and again, whose I am. I hate preaching to y'all, but like it's a big
Get
thing.
her a robe.
Listen, she already got the mic. Get the rest
When
of
you
it.
Yeah.
get that embedded into your spirit, it's just like, yo, like everything that's meant for me is literally going to align and work itself out. So I don't mind getting a no. If that thing doesn't work out, it doesn't break me to my core. It's just like, all right, God, so what do you have lined up for me?
1,000%.
And I just think that's it's taken me far in my professional career, not even in my profession when it comes to friendships, relationships, everything. When you have that and you're focused on that alignment piece, it's just like whatever flows.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
100%. And I also think, for me, my mindset as it relates to networking has changed because for me, I might not sign up to go to a networking event. You're not going to catch me there. But I network regularly. I feel like,
Yeah, so do you guys want to hear a cool story about networking?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, this is considered networking to a certain extent, I guess. But
Yeah.
fun fact, me and Miss LaDiamond actually went to college together at Albany State University.
Whoop, whoop.
You know, and we were both freshmen at the same time. And although we weren't friends, we definitely knew of each other. I came into Miss LaDiamond's office. I think I had to pick up something, whatever. And you were like, hey, aren't you one of the twins from Albany State University? And I was like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
You went there, you know what I'm saying? And from that moment, we reconnected, and then we became friends and great colleagues. We worked together as co-advisors for the Spelman Pathway Ambassadors and now co-hosts on this podcast. But just that little connection of knowing each other from a previous environment allowed us to create a space where we're able to do things that we think is going to change the dynamic of like higher ed. in a
Yeah.
sense, you know?
Absolutely. And that type of networking is what I love, where you're one-on-one with someone. That's something. Now, you can sign me up for that any day. But being in a room full of people, forget about it. And that's okay, you know, and there's different forms of networking. So, for example, homecoming is a networking environment. When Makia said that,
I said that yesterday on a phone call.
it was mind-blowing
face.
to me.
I would never think of homecoming as
But you
a
gotta
network.
Break it down.
All right, period.
Say it again.
Okay.
They hurt me.
No,
loud and
they
clear.
didn't.
Yes, they did. I would never think of homecoming as a networking event.
Exactly, because you're in undergrad.
Mm.
Respectfully.
Are you,
That
that's-
was
Thank
deep.
you, because that took too long for that. Respectfully, that was,
You're in
that was a
undergrad
dig.
though, because
Yeah.
in undergrad I probably wouldn't think the same thing. It's undergrad. I'm with my friends. Let's turn up. You know what I'm saying? But as older, seasoned.
I'm not going for that.
I thank
I'm
God
not
for
claiming
being
that.
seasoned.
No.
But when you're looking older, like you think about how many amazing alumni come back to Spelman during homecoming.
Yeah.
Do you know how many amazing people are out there and they're coming back and reconnecting with their peers? You got lawyers, you got doctors, you got so many amazing people that's right here on the yard that have open positions. And we don't think that that is a great way to meet somebody through asking a question.
Right.
through being curious, through listening to a conversation.
And not just for scholarship opportunities or for them, because they come back with a bag.
They
Listen,
do.
The alumni come back with a bag. They be
love-
ready to give you some money. That's great. But also ask some questions. What are you doing now? Wow, how'd you get into that career? Coming prepared with questions. You shouldn't be that turned up as an undergrad during homecoming. Homecoming is not for you. Homecoming is for those who have graduated.
Pause,
They coming home.
We do got to be realistic.
Pause.
I'm
Pause.
saying,
No,
I
wait,
don't think that's
no,
something they know.
wait. As the resident college student on this podcast, I would like to know if I have events on homecoming, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yes, have
Yes,
fun. But
I
it's
should,
not.
But,
I'm
it is
saying,
for me. It's for us. It's for all of us. And as a
It's
commuter,
for
I'm always
you.
coming home. I don't live here. This ain't my
I don't
home.
live here.
I'm saying in general, I wish somebody would have told me homecoming is not for you to be somewhere turned up, drunk,
I think it's
out of
it's
order. Like,
balance.
have a balance for it. Like, when you see an event where it's gonna be like a lot of alumni, get yourself together so that you can go be coherent, introduce yourself, get
Exactly.
an opportunity. If Drake on the yard or anybody else, go and enjoy your concert. I'm not saying at the concert have a blazer on trying to with
And
your
I'm
business
not-
cards. That's not what I'm saying.
that either. I think like when I'm thinking about juniors and seniors specifically, like when you're going to homecoming, there's a time and a place for everything. But if you know where you stand when it comes to finding your post-grad placement and you are in need, that is a great opportunity to network. And I'm not saying show up to homecoming in a suit and tie with your resume
Right.
in hand. Just go and have that mindset that
Mindful.
today I'm going to engage in meaningful conversations.
Yes.
And go into it with no expectations either. I just want to meet people and have meaningful conversations. So when you go out there and you're having those meaningful conversations, that could turn in, hey, let's exchange information. Let's follow each other on LinkedIn. Let me
yes.
keep up. But you're not going in there like, I'm going to go to homecoming and get a job today.
Yeah.
Don't have that
no.
expectation.
Just
I'm
I want
going
to connect with
homecoming
someone.
and I want to connect and
Yeah.
let those connections go where they may lead.
Okay. So, like, you guys are saying, like, go in there with the intentions of meeting people, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So, like, at Spelman, we're doing, like, 1,000 things in one day, and we're moving, like, 5,000 miles per minute. How do you make sure that you stay in contact with the people that you've connected with, whether that's alum, whether that's, we always have, like, a career something happening upstairs or graduate drives, whatever. We have those upstairs. Like, how do you make sure that you stay in contact with the people in your network, even when you have a busy
million things.
schedule? Yeah.
I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but we have to prioritize it. That's the best answer I have. Like, I'm a calendar person, so currently I am working here full time. I am doing this podcast. I'm a co-advisor for the ambassadors. I'm looking for a home. I'm planning a wedding. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of things to be doing at one time. And so I have to stay in contact with you guys. I have to stay in contact with Miss LaDiamond. I have to stay in contact with my team, my department. I just graduated. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, you're always going to be busy. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just more so like prioritizing what's important. Like, if you feel like this connection is good for you to be in your network and it's going to help you grow, prioritize reaching out every now and then. You know what I'm saying? It could be 1 month, one day out of the month. Hey, can this 1 month out of the day we meet up for coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a 30-minute Zoom that we just have on our calendar just to catch up and see how things are going for you and what's going on in my life?
Absolutely.
So that we can build this connection. And prioritizing it and put it on your schedule, it kind of makes it easier for you to stay in alignment. And so you're not like, oh, I have to find time. You've already put that out there.
Yeah.
You've embedded it and created it to be something that you have to do. Just
Yeah.
like you do your classes, your homework, and everything else.
Yeah.
So
I would say as you're becoming a junior and a senior, maybe taking it from maybe a freshman and sophomore year, it's once a month type thing, depending on who you are, and how ambitious you are. And then, but as a junior and senior, making it a bi-weekly thing that you intentionally do. I wanted, before we leave, to speak, I wanted you to speak about LinkedIn being a networking resource,
oh yeah.
specifically here at Spelman, and like what that looks like for students.
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity to work with alumni. I hope I'm saying that right. My boss is going to kill me.
Okay.
But alumni, I think that's how she says it.
Yeah.
But I've had the opportunity. Thanks, Ray. I had the opportunity to work with them a lot of times. I remember one time I was planning an event and I needed I just needed 10 people, and I think my inbox was over 1,000 people who wanted to help and support me for this event. And having to respond to 1,000 emails and hopefully not miss one was a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't realize you guys don't realize the connections that you guys have with alumni and how willing they are to help you guys because you just went to Spelman.
Yeah.
And so when you go to LinkedIn on the Spelman, I show my students this in student appointments all the time, but you go to Spelman College and there's an alumni feature on there. And what I recommend students to do is to always type in your major. So when you first get there, it'll be like, when you click alumni, it'll say like 23,000 alumni are connected to the Spelman College webpage. And so then if you type in your major, let's just say education, because that's what I am.
Yeah.
You know, and so then it might go from 23,000 to 500.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 500 people that are on LinkedIn, connected to LinkedIn, are currently, you know, they were education majors when they were at Spelman. And then it'll populate some data for you. It'll show you where they currently live. And the column I always look at is what they do. And so when it says education, it'll come up with a lot of different stuff: higher education, project management, early childhood education. And so I'll click higher education because that's what I'm currently doing, or that's my interest. And so once you do that, it'll go from like 500 to maybe 130. And then at the bottom of it, it'll populate all the alumni who went to Spelman, who have your same major, who's in the field of the job field that you're interested in.
Excellent.
You can do a few things with that.
Yeah.
I encourage students, if they are like me and they don't mind putting themselves out there, reach out and be like, hey, I stumbled across your LinkedIn page and I'm very interested in what you do. Are you able to connect with me so that I can learn more? Just putting yourself out there to have a simple conversation, again, with no expectations. You're not reaching out to this person in hopes that you're going to get a job. But you never know how that simple conversation could turn into a connection or them referring you to somebody else that they know because you had that desire or willingness to reach out and try to form a connection.
Yeah.
Another thing you could do, not to sound spooky or stalkerish, but you can look at people's pathways.
Yeah.
You can
How they got to where
how
they
got
are.
to where they currently are. Okay, well, they went to Spelman, and it says while they were at Spelman, they had this internship, and then when they left Spelman, they got this job, or they went to this school, and this is what they did next, and this is what they did next, and now they're the CEO of their company.
Right. And
You
it's
know?
not to compare or to mimic their journey, but to realize that there's so many different ways to get to where it is that you want to go.
Exactly. And then I also think that sometimes we don't even know the possibilities of what we can do with our majors. If we don't know all what we can do,
Yeah.
we could be limited ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so sometimes it opens up your mind like, oh my gosh, that's a cool career. Maybe I should try that. And so that's definitely a tool I recommend students to use all the time, because when you're mapping out your career journey, like post-grad, there's not one linear way of how it should be done. Just because you're a finance major don't mean you're going to end up in finance doing finance things. You know what I'm saying?
You can go into marketing for
Man,
finance.
you can go into different things. And so if
Yeah.
you don't know how to plan for what fits you. Because what's for you is different than what it is for somebody else. Just because you're the same major doesn't mean the outcome's going to be the same.
That's not my fault because it is 12 o'clock. The last thing that I would say before we go is that a form of networking that we didn't really cover, and maybe we need to do another episode because networking is fun, apparently. My mind has been changed.
Won't he do it?
Another form of networking is Greek life.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And networking with
attest to
those
that,
who
but yeah.
are part of Greek life. Quick story. My first job that I got in grad school, my first big girl job, it came from my supervisor being a member of Phi Beta Sigma, and I'm a Zeta. And so he had his bracelet on, and I was like, are you a part of? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, I just crossed, blah, 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 blah. And so we go into interviews, and I don't think, I'm just regularly meeting with him, but we go into interviews, and for him, it was a no-brainer. And to choose me, he didn't even know me. He just knew we were blue and white. So it does tap into that. If you're a part of Greek life, that is a form of networking. It
Absolutely.
might feel a little unfair, but we play into unfair advantages sometimes. I think you should.
Period. I mean, being a Spelmanite is an unfair advantage. So
In a lot of situations.
No,
in all
really.
situations.
Y'all,
Let's
Like from that, I got selected over people who went to Harvard and Princeton, and like when I went through and saw who I was like up against in the interview pool, I was like, I shouldn't have got that. But I showed up and showed out once I got there, so don't take advantage of it and be sorry and not show up and show up they vouch for you based upon whatever that connection is. And the final networking thing is like your parents can network for you. Like my baby is interested in X, Y, and Z.
I was telling you that
and
yesterday.
I know, yeah,
That's how I got my internship this summer.
Really?
My dad worked with, he's now the city manager of Inglewood. But at the time he was.
Shout out to LA.
Shout out. Well, it's Inglewood. It's different. But sorry guys. We don't want no
we
ruckus.
got to mind our southern business.
Okay.
But he was telling my dad, or my dad was telling him, he was like, yeah, like she's an economics major, but she doesn't really know what she wants to go into. And he's like, let her come be a planner for a summer. We'll see what that does. And, by the end of the summer, she'll be a planner. I am not a planner, but I will happily go back to Inglewood and like get a I can go there and get a full-time job if I because like my dad was able to network for me, but I also was able to go up there and show them what I'm made of. I'm not just Nate's kid, but I'm also like I'm Ray Janae. Like you give me the work, I get the job done for you.
Absolutely.
But it's also
Absolutely.
like while your parents can network for you, it's also your responsibility to show up.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna say.
Show up and show out.
Yes,
please.
like you have to show up and show out, but. That's a perfect example of what I wanted to say. That's the last point for sure. But like how her parent got her in the door and then she took that opportunity and made the best of it. Now they're like, hey, for real, come see me when you graduate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a blessing. And people got to understand like you have to take advantage. So don't ever think something's just given to you. Regardless of how you got there, you still got to show up and do your part.
Absolutely. I think that's good, y'all.
Bye. Bye, y'all. Want to learn more about Spelman Pathways, the upcoming events, and the resources that we do offer, please click the link in our bio, DM us, or scan the QR code that will be at the outro. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we hope that you come back to join us. Bye.